testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
You may have a seat, sir.
Please keep your voice down and clear. Please be microphone. It's turned a little bit so that I can speak out.
Okay. May I proceed, Judge?
Yes.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Can you please introduce yourself to the members of our jury here?
My name is Robert Bruto. I'm a retired Miami-Dade police officer.
Mr. Bruto, when did you retire from the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office?
November of 2024.
How long did you serve?
Approximately a little over 31 years.
Congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you.
What unit were you working for at the time of your retirement?
The Marine Patrol unit.
How long did you serve as part of the Marine Patrol unit?
Approximately 20 years.
Before working for the Marine Patrol unit, were you a road patrol officer?
I was a road patrol officer for 6 years. I was a auto theft detective for approximately 5 years, and then finished the last 20 as a Marine Patrol officer.
As a Marine Patrol officer, did you receive specific training?
Yes.
Can you sort of describe some of the training that you received to become a Marine Patrol officer?
Initial requirements are the Florida boating course put on through FWC. It's required by every boater born after January 1st, 1988. Was one of the first requirements that I had to complete. After that, once I joined the unit, the Miami-Dade Police Department put on a approximately 10-day course of boating school to teach the new boaters or the new hires for that unit the way they wanted you to patrol and operate the vessels. Throughout my career, there were numerous other agencies that put on trainings, Coast Guard, FWC, some outside agencies that I had attended for various different boating courses, as well as BUIs on the water, radiation detection on the water, and numerous trainings.
Have you ever been an instructor for trainings?
Yes, towards the end of my career, the last, I'd say 4 years or so, I was an instructor for the Miami-Dade Police Department's boating school.
As part of training, would navigational safety be discussed?
Yes, it would be as part of the course.
And just for the benefit of the jurors, were you a boater as a civilian growing up?
Yes, I pretty much grew up my entire life here in South Florida. Went on numerous boats my family owned, as well as myself that I owned, as well as neighbors. Pretty much from probably the age of 7 or 8 years old, I've been on a boat.
And even though you are now retired, do you still boat?
Yes, I do. I have my own vessel that I go out on.
All right. So, Mr. Bruto, I want to talk to you a little bit about September 4th, 2022. Do you recall the events of that day?
Yes, I do.
Was that Labor Day weekend?
Yes, it was Labor Day weekend.
Can you describe to the jurors what boating traffic is like over holiday weekends versus a regular weekday?
Like night and day. During the week, very little traffic is out there. Very few people go out on the water. Weekends are busy. The marinas are usually filled up by noontime. There's no more room for vessels to put in the water at the marinas. Holiday weekends are even worse. They actually open up additional parking, so there's even more boaters out on the water.
Have you responded to emergency situations during the course of your career
Yes, I have.
Have you received training on first aid?
Yes, I have.
Have you received training on emergency response?
Yes.
Can you describe some of those trainings to the jurors and what you learned?
Through the department, they put on a CPR course and a refresher course every year through trained instructors that we must pass and go through. CPR, first responder, first aid, as well as the Marine Patrol itself implemented training, various different types for our unique needs out on the water. So pretty much my entire career, we've been training for that.
When did your shift begin on September 4th, 2022?
I don't recall exactly because sometimes our normal shift is 7 a.m. in the morning till usually 7 p.m. Holiday weekends, sometimes they adjust it so we can work a little bit later in the evening. I don't recall exactly what our shift was that particular day.
Can you give us just a general estimate?
I would say maybe 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Unless something happened and we would hold over.
So where do you go when you are going to begin a shift with Marine Patrol?
That particular day I was assigned to Black Point Marina. The county has 3 assigned marinas for the Marine Patrol unit. One in the north end, Pelican Harbor. One in the middle of the county, roughly, Matheson Hammock Park. And then the south end is Black Point Marina.
Did you know that you would be beginning your workday at Black Point Marina?
Yes, I did.
How often had you been assigned to that area, Black Point Marina?
At that point, approximately maybe 8 years.
And can you give just a general description of what Black Point Marina looks like?
When you first get there, it's a large parking area off to the right for vehicles with boat trailers. On the left-hand side is just for vehicles itself. When you travel all the way down into the marina, you'll come to what used to be little guard booths that collected the money for parking fees. They no longer use that, but you pass through that, and directly in front of you are the boat ramps. Off to your left is a restaurant and the park offices, and off to the right of the actual boat ramps is a large privately owned storage facility for vessels.
And is Black Point Marina on the mainland?
It's part of the mainland, yes.
Okay. So can you tell the jury some of the duties and responsibilities that were assigned to you on specifically this day?
Mainly, we were required to patrol the heavily populated areas of the waterways, to control the speeds, the safety of the boating public and swimmers that were in the water. Black Point's responsibility is roughly from, say, 152nd Street south, everything south of there. Then Matheson Hammock would generally be responsible for 152nd all the way up to like the Port of Miami. And then Pelican Harbor would be from there all the way up to the county line. Not to say we can't go across to help each other out or further, or even into either Monroe County jurisdiction to help them out, or possibly up into Fort Lauderdale to help them out if need be.
Are you wearing like a normal patrol uniform?
We have the standard polo shirt that some of the road units wear as well, but we wear shorts instead of long pants out on the vessels due to the heat.
It gets hot out there.
It's hot.
Did you have a partner on the vessel?
Yes. That day was Officer Marvin Friels was Flores. Marvin Flores was my partner that day for Labor Day weekend.
had you worked with Officer Flores before?
Yes, he was my regular partner during any other work day.
So when you get to Black Point Marina, are you assigned a particular vessel?
We were. Generally, it's the senior officer or the supervisor picks the vessel they want to use for the day, and then the next senior on down the line will pick whatever vessel they want to use. Generally, it's only 2 officers working normally on a day, and we'll just pick whatever boat best suits the conditions for that day. But on a holiday weekend, when everybody comes in, it normally goes by seniority to pick the vessels. I
was going to say, you were pretty senior as far as time in.
Yeah, but the supervisor kind of trumps seniority all the time.
Understood. I understand that. So what was the vessel that you wound up taking?
We wound up in what they call the 850 Impact. It's a boat built by Brunswick Corporation, which is a subsidiary of Boston Whaler. 850 is the metric equivalent to approximately 25, 26 foot vessel.
What is the top speed that that vessel can go?
That particular vessel does approximately 52 to 54 miles an hour.
And would you go at that speed if you were to respond to an emergency?
If the conditions were correct or conducive to that, we would. It just depends on the conditions that we were presented with, whether it be weather, sea conditions, boating traffic conditions. It just depends on the totality of the circumstances that we're in.
What was the weather like on September 4th, 2022?
It was clear, clear skies, light chop on the bay, no rain, so it was a nice day out.
And just to give a little bit of insight, when you say light chop, how does that affect boating?
It's just the amount of wave that the wind produces on the water. Smaller vessels, it's going to affect more than larger vessels. So it just depends on direction they're going in and which direction the boat is traveling in.
Did the weather conditions or the conditions of the water, did it impede you at all in conducting your duties and responsibilities on that day?
No, it did not.
Was there anything unique or unusual about the weather conditions or the water conditions on the day of the shift?
No.
So, throughout the day, did you respond first to an unrelated medical emergency?
Yes, we responded as a backup unit to one of the other units that had a medical emergency.
Around what time of day was that? And you could estimate.
Approximately 2 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe, or 1:30 it started.
So, how do you communicate with dispatch?
We have our radios that are programmed, and they're programmed to a specific frequency to communicate with the dispatch. We also have our handheld radios that we carry on us that we usually put on a side frequency specifically for Marine Patrol so we can communicate with each other. We also have our VHF radios. It's a boating radio. Any boater is able to have that radio as well, so we can communicate with them or Coast Guard or each other, as well as fire rescue.
That's a good point. Does the Marine Patrol unit work with other agencies in protecting the safety of people on the water?
Yes, we do. Numerous other agencies.
Can you just name some agencies that assist with that?
Down in the Black Point area, the main one would be Biscayne National Park officers. Also, Florida Fish and Wildlife has vessels in the area. As you get further north, you have Coral Gables Police Department that has some vessels. Key Biscayne has vessels. Coast Guard also patrols the area, just to name a few.
And you mentioned earlier that for Miami-Dade on holiday weekends, there's more officers working.
Usually they bring in officers on an overtime basis to help out because of the amount of boating traffic there is.
Do you know if that's the case for these other agencies as well?
I couldn't say for sure, but the majority of them usually do.
Okay. So let's talk about the unrelated medical emergency. Do you respond to that?
We responded as a backup to secure the landing zone for the air flight from Miami-Dade Fire to airlift the patient out because we're out on the water.
Does your vessel have a stock of medical supplies?
We do. We carry a first aid kit with basic first aid stuff. We carry a backboard up in the vessel. We also carry a AED, an automatic defibrillator, on the vessel as well.
What is the purpose of having a backboard?
Backboard is usually to stabilize somebody that possibly could have back injuries, spine injuries. We usually put them on that board to stabilize them so they can't move and cause further injury, and strap them down to it. Fire rescue commonly uses it, even with the gurneys they use. They put people on the backboards when they suspect back injuries, neck injuries, or something where they need to immobilize the patient.
Is that especially important when the patient is on a boat that moves?
It would be. If we suspect they might have back injuries or neck injuries, we would want to stabilize it the best we can and strap them down because the boat is constantly rocking in the water.
And you mentioned a defibrillator, saying it right. What is that?
It's a medical device that we use to not necessarily restart the heart, but regain the rhythm of the heart if it's not pumping correctly. It'll indicate if it needs to shock the person to get it back in the rhythm, or if we just need to monitor them and the rhythm is okay.
Were any of those type of supplies used in the unrelated medical emergency?
They were used from the other boat that the sergeant had, because the sergeant and the other officers on that vessel were the ones who responded to that call, so they utilized what they had on that boat when they first responded there. Once they called for additional backup and needed us to go to the Boca Chita landing zone, we responded there and just secured the area, but our medical supplies weren't used for that.
Okay, so the Boca Chita landing zone, what caused you to go there?
We were asked to go there to secure the area so there would be no vessel traffic or pedestrians walking on the island where the helicopter needed to land life flight to pick up the patient.
So after you attend to this unrelated medical emergency, what do you next do?
We all the vessels that responded there, which was all from Black Point mainly, we all responded back to Black Point Marina. At that point, we were breaking to have a little something to eat and try and restock the vessel that used the medical supplies with medical supplies back in there because it was such a busy holiday weekend. We wanted to make sure we were prepared if anything else occurred.
How long were you at Black Point Marina restocking medical supplies before another call comes out?
I would say 3 to 5 minutes, if that. We had just walked upstairs and just walked in the office.
Did you go into emergency mode?
At that point, we jumped back on the boats. The call that came out was a boat overturned with a female in the water that they could not find. So we all jumped back in the boats. We had 3 vessels working at a Black Point Marina that weekend. Our boat, the sergeant's vessel, and then a boat with divers on it. When the emergency went out, since there was a possibility of someone being in the water, instead of the divers taking their boat, they just split up between our boats and jumped on our boats, and we all responded to where Initially, the call went out. The vessel accident or overturned vessel was by Boca Chita Island.
Did you respond to Boca Chita Island?
We responded to Boca Chita Island moments before we were pulling into the harbor they have. We received additional information that the boat was possibly somewhere along Elliott Key, but Elliott Key is a very long island, approximately 10 miles long. So it didn't give a specific location, so we immediately turned southbound and started traveling down along Elliott Key to try and locate it.
Is that uncommon for the location of the emergency to be difficult to determine initially?
Most boaters aren't aware of the exact location of where they're at, unless you've been boating many years and know the areas. And even at that, there are some boating maps that call one area something, and on a different style map made by a different company, they'll call an area something different. And then there's areas that are designated as a specific location, but people go there and make up a nickname for it, and some of them stick, some of them don't, and they'll call it the nickname. But it just depends on who's calling in the call, whether they know exactly where they're at, or they just give a nickname or some type of coordinates. So it's not uncommon that they'll give out an information or say, we're 3 miles from Turkey Point, but they don't give a direction of 3 miles where, north, south, east, west. They'll just say we're 3 miles away from Turkey Point. So it's happened more often than not.
How much time passed between the initial call and when you and your partner pulled up to Boca Chita Island? If you could estimate.
Maybe 15 minutes from Black Point Marina to Boca Chita. It's approximately 10 miles. So it's a good distance, even on the water where there's no technically speed limits or streets that you have to follow. There's still wave conditions, other boating traffic, and it's just 10 miles is a long ways to travel.
You mentioned that you were traveling south down Elliott.
Yeah, once we got additional information that it was possibly along Elliott Key somewhere, we turned southbound and started heading along Elliott Key.
When do you all come across the crash site?
We continue to receive more updates. I believe the next update said it was closer to Caesars Creek, which is the south end of Elliott Key. And then we received another call that it was at Cutter Bank. So we just continued south until we got to the area of Cutter Bank. We were able to see a life flight helicopter from Miami-Dade Fire up in the air, and we kind of just headed towards that way because we didn't notice any other people flagging us down anywhere else.
At least initially, did you see the capsized boat?
Once we got through the channel markers along Cutter Bank, closer to the south end, we saw the initial overturned vessel, but we were being waved down and saw the helicopter above a smaller white open fishing vessel.
There's been some testimony already, but can you just describe Cutter Bank and what it is used for?
Cutter Bank is just a shallow shoal that kind of divides where Elliott Key is, southbound towards like the Florida Keys. There is a channel marked that they put up markers on either side of it to travel through where it's dug out deeper so you don't get stuck in the shallow areas on either side of it. It's a long channel and a wide channel.
And all of these locations that you're discussing here in court, are they locations that you are familiar with?
Yes.
With the court's permission, I'd like to use what's already in evidence. It states to And with the court's permission, may the witness step down to help me publish this exhibit?
Yes.
All right. And Mr. Bruto, I have a handy dandy pointer here. So Ms. Adams is also going to assist. Can you sort of show the jury the path that you just described to get to the capsized boat?
We started off at Black Point, where we were. We went out the channel and traveled over to Boca Chita, coming this way, through the small cut here. And when we got approximately about here is where the call came in, additional information that was possibly along Elliott Key, which is this.
So let me stop you real quick. So the map has Boca Chita Key written on it. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay, you may continue, sir.
Once we got the additional information, we changed course and headed southbound through the channel markers and along Elliott Key. Like I said, additional information kept coming in that it was possibly further south, closer to Caesars Creek, which is right here at the south end of Elliott Key. We continued southbound. When we got somewhere along here, additional information again came in that the overturned vessel was down closer to Cutter Bank, which is this area right in here along the channel markers. So we continued. When we were approximately here, we were able to see the helicopter flying in the air somewhere in this area. And we just continued down through the channel markers until we reached where we saw people flagging us down and everybody and helicopter up in the air.
In the areas that you're describing, are they all in Miami-Dade County?
Yes, they all are in Miami-Dade County.
Can you also just, while we have the map up, show the jurors where Ocean Reef Club is on the map?
The actual club is going to be over in this area, or right here. But pretty much this whole area is Ocean Reef, where they have all the housing. But the club is on the outside. And then there's canalways and waterways going through there for Ocean Reef.
Can you show the jurors how someone, if they wanted to go from the area of the channel markers to Ocean Reef Club, how they would get there?
From here you would have actually two different choices. Once you pass through the channel markers, you could either cut through Broad Channel and come around, or you could cut through Angelfish Channel through this way and then come around to get to the outside to where the club is.
Have you ever been to that club?
I've been to the marina, not necessarily.
Are you a member?
I'm not a member.
You can have a seat, Mr. Bruto. Thank you, Ms. Adams. So you mentioned seeing a helicopter.
Yes, the air life flight from Miami-Dade Fire Rescue.
What else did you see coming from the helicopter?
As we approached and came through the channel, they were already beginning to lower one of their paramedics down to the small white open fisherman that was waving us down.
How close did you get your vessel to what we've been describing as the Good Samaritan boat?
Once we got through that channel and saw him coming down, the prop wash from the helicopter began turning the small boat. So we pretty much went right up against the side on the right side of the Good Samaritan vessel.
And I'm just going to interrupt you. Just in case, prop wash, what is that?
From the rotor blades of the helicopter, as they're spinning, it's sending down the air to keep it up in the air. It goes straight down below it, and since they were directly above that small boat, the small boat started to turn. Very slowly, not fast, but just very slowly, so it was making it difficult for the paramedic to be dropped and lowered down onto the bow of that vessel.
How did you use your vessel to help in that situation?
I took my vessel, and again, we came up alongside and pinned that vessel's right side to our vessel, and the other vessel with the sergeant on it, pinned it on the left side and stopped it from moving, because now you got a larger mass. It still would spin, but a whole lot slower. Our vessels were also a lot larger than the Good Samaritan's vessel, so it was easier for him to lower down onto one of our vessels than to the bow of that vessel.
Now, when you look on that Good Samaritan vessel, who do you see on there?
There were two females sitting up in the front seat. There was, I believe, a male driver, and then there was another female, or two females, in the back. One laying down, appeared to be unconscious, and the other one appearing to help with CPR.
Was the younger female that was unconscious, did she later become known to you as Lucy Fernandez?
Yes.
Did you get on that boat to render first aid?
Myself, no. Since I was the operator of my vessel, I was obligated to stay with it and keep control of the Good Samaritan's vessel once I tied to it.
Who did board that boat from Marine Patrol?
I believe it was Marvin Flores, that was my partner, Peter Gonzalez, one of the divers that came with us, Tom Kennedy from the other vessel, and I think Adam Furana went over there and left the sergeant on the vessel to control his vessel, and the three of us.
Was Lucy transferred from the Good Samaritan boat to your vessel?
No, she was transferred to the larger contender, which would be more stable in the water.
And can you describe how she was transferred from the Good Samaritan vessel to the police boat?
We utilized the backboard that we had on our vessel, since we still had one. The personnel, along with the paramedic from fire rescue, got her on the backboard as safely as they could, and strapped her as secure as they could, and then they lifted her up and moved her over to the bigger vessel.
And what was the goal for Marine Patrol in that moment? What were you trying to do?
Trying to get medical attention to the people that needed it the most.
Did you know that there were other injured persons as a result of this crash at the time that you were with Lucy?
Other than the two other females on that vessel with Lucy, at that point we didn't know, because we didn't get a chance to speak with anybody.
Did you see any vessels in that moment nearby that may have had other injured persons?
Right at that moment, we were concentrating on getting the medical attention to them. Once she was placed on that vessel, and they took off to a landing zone on Elliott Key, I stood with the Good Samaritan vessel to get information from them for the report. And within seconds, another vessel approached, saying and pointing to a darker colored vessel that was further south that had more victims on it.
Just out of curiosity, what was the reason that Lucy wasn't placed on a backboard and lifted up into the helicopter and flown away? Was that an option?
Fire rescue, it's a very difficult thing to airlift somebody up off of a vessel, especially a smaller vessel that has the T-top, antennas, and everything in the way that could get caught on either the lifting basket. It's something that they practice on a regular basis with their fire boat. Usually their boat is moving at a slow, steady pace forward to maintain control as they're moving along with it, to airlift them off, to make it safe coming up off the back away from antennas or any obstructions that could tangle up the board.
And just for the benefit of the jurors, what is a T-top?
T-top is the shade covering, the pipe, the aluminum pipe structure on some vessels. Some have what they call a bimini top that's foldable and could be collapsed down. The T-tops are usually rigid and are permanently mounted, so they can't be taken down.
And if you need to, sir, you can refer to your police report, but who were the 3 individuals that went on that boat at that time?
I got the information after the fact because I didn't have any information at that point, but I do know that...
Yeah, just
I could rephrase the question.
rephrase, or gentlemen, you can refresh that.
Yeah, that's actually what I was going to say, Judge. If you need to refresh your recollection about the three people that went on that vessel, you can refer your report.
All right, but just read it, and then you look up after you read it, and let us know.
And I believe it may be on page 8.
Okay.
Did that refresh your recollection?
Yes.
And who was that?
Lucy Fernandez was one. A C. Pino was the second one, an adult female. And then P. Garcia, a juvenile.
Thank you, sir. So you mentioned the larger vessel that you were alerted to. Do you immediately respond to that larger vessel?
Yes, I do. I advised the Good Samaritan vessel to just try and maintain where they were at, that someone would be along to get their information, and I immediately respond to the larger vessel that was further south.
Can you estimate the distance between the boat with Lucy and this next vessel?
I'd say anywhere from a quarter mile to a half mile away from where Lucy's vessel was.
Now, when you arrive at the second vessel, are you now alone?
I was alone. Everybody who boarded the vessel from my vessel to help out went with the larger vessel over to Elliott Key to render the aid.
When you get to that larger vessel, what do you see?
Immediately I see 2 females in what I describe as a rescue position that we usually do for first aid, or a fetal position you'd call it, laying on the back of either a swim or dive platform, depending on what you want to call it, of that vessel, along with a lot of other juveniles and adults in the vessel as well.
Was it clear to you that those young ladies were injured?
The 2 on the back seemed to be injured. The ones inside, I couldn't tell if they were injured or not.
Do you tie your vessel to this second boat?
Yes, I came up to the back of that swim platform or dive platform and tied off my vessel perpendicular to it so I can assess their possible injuries and find out what's going on.
Do you actually board that second vessel?
Yes, I stepped off across to the platform and checked for responsiveness and vital signs on the 2. One female on the right-hand side was able to nod and answer basic questions, but appeared to be in pain. This female on the left-hand side, she was non-responsive. You could hear the labored breathing she had, and very shallow, and her pulse was very weak.
Did you have a backboard with you?
My backboard went for Lucy Fernandez and went with that boat, so I didn't have a backboard with me.
If you did have a backboard, would you have used it?
If I had personnel to help me, it takes more than one person, especially someone that appeared to be as injured as the females were. You would need somebody to stabilize the neck, as we were taught, before you put them on the backboard to hopefully not cause any further injury.
Did you learn as part of this investigation that the young lady that was unconscious...
Objection, Your Honor.
What was the name of the first female that you encountered?
The first one was the one that wasn't responsive, which was, I later learned to be Katy Puig.
And how about the second female?
The second one, I'd have to refresh my recollection.
Okay. Can you do that using your 10-page report?
Yes.
And I think it may be on page 9, if that helps. Page 9, line 4.
Okay.
Did that help refresh your recollection, sir?
Yes.
And what is the name of that individual?
And I, Rodriguez.
Okay. Were these girls teenage girls?
They appeared to be young, yes.
How many other younger women were on that boat?
I believe approximately 9.
And were there any adults on that boat when you first got there?
Yes.
Did you speak with them without saying what they said? Did you speak with them?
Yes.
Did they provide you information about, what they had done prior to you arriving?
Yes.
Are you using your radio to try and get help?
Yes, I immediately radioed back to dispatch that we needed medical personnel, possibly an airlift at that point, being we had a larger vessel, so it's more stable, to airlift at least Ms. Puig, because she was unresponsive and very seriously injured. I radioed back to dispatch, as well as on our side frequency, the marine frequency, to my supervisor, who were setting up a kind of triage first aid area on Elliott Key.
Elliott Key, is that the ranger station there?
It's approximately in the middle of the key. Like I said, it's about 10 miles long, so approximately in the middle they have a ranger station and another building, along with bathrooms and a large area that they can use as a landing zone for the helicopter and dockage.
Mr. Bruto, at the time of this crash, when you responded, were you equipped with body-worn camera?
Yes, I was.
Did you activate your body-worn camera at some point that day?
Yes, I did.
Yes. Okay. I think what we're going to do is, ladies and gentlemen, we can address a couple of legal issues. This would be actually a good time for us to break things a bit more on the direct with the witness and maybe during the cross-examination. And I think that it goes past 6 o'clock and anything. Absolutely good on that. I think that you've all had a very full day. So let me give you some instructions for this.
Can we excuse Mr. Bruto?
Okay. Sir, I'll instruct you, please, you cannot discuss your testimony with anyone. You are under oath, and we'll have you back tomorrow. Please get to be back here at 9:30.
Okay.
Okay. Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you put your notepads, I think you're getting the routine now, put your notepads inside your envelopes and give them to Renee and leave the courtroom. Same instructions. Please be very vigilant about following these instructions. Insulate yourselves. If you think you're hearing something that has anything to do with these proceedings, ignore it, don't listen to it, don't watch it, don't read it. Okay? Please don't go on social media to either post any comments or read anything or try to gather any kind of information as well. No research, no investigation. There is information information that is outside of this courtroom, that is not evidence, and is not for you to consider. The only thing you can consider is the evidence presented in this courtroom and the law that I will instruct you on, and ultimately reaching your decision. So be very, very cautious of that. Be mindful also, not to speak with each other. Of course, you can't have any conversations about this case until you are sent into the jury room at the time to deliberate. Also can't speak with anyone else, parties, anyone. And if anyone attempts to speak with you or in your presence about the case, please remind them you're on the jury, keep the badges well displayed. If they persist, please let them know. Tomorrow, please be here if you would, as today, great. Please be here by 9:30. If you would report to the jury room on the 7th floor, please get it inside the jury room instead of in the hall. And Renee will bring you to the courtroom when we are ready to proceed. Okay? So have a very restful and pleasant evening, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
All rise.
Just give me a minute to get that hall. You can all be seated. Thank you. Recess for the jury, but I would like to have a few minutes. If you can, so clear, address the one matter. I can view the information now, or alternative two is you can send it to me again, we can look at it, and then I can address the issue tomorrow.
We prefer to do it now, and we have a matter we need to address with you at sidebar.
Okay, would you like to address the sidebar matter first?
Sure.
Okay, come on over.